Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today I'll be creating a summer bucket list for my planner, as well as giving away a printable I used for free. So let's get to it. And I've got this watercolor paper here all ready to go, as well as this label paper sheet that I printed the printable on, this canister of watercolors and a paintbrush, this hole punch disc punch tool, this Plannything sticker book, and these Happy Planner sticker books, which I'll pull from. Okay guys, so we're going to start off by doing a little bit of watercolor just for some fun background color. And what I did is I grabbed out a lid from my kitchen for one of my food storage bowls to make a nice circle. And now I'm going to take just some washi tape and outline the circle here kind of on top of the line that I just drew so that I can mask out the areas outside of the circle. So just going to quickly do that in some little segments and then go back over it with my precision cutter, just tracing that line that I can see through the washi tape and creating that circle so that I can remove the excess washi tape from the inside of the circle. And this worked really well, actually. It came up really easily and cut through nicely, so it was just right for this application. And now for the watercolor, I'm just using this canister of different pigments I have from Arteza. And I'm going to go ahead and just wet some of the ones I think I might be using. Just adding a little bit of water from the brush and sticking that onto the pots there just to get them a little bit more soluble. And now I'm just going to start with the lightest colors first, kind of going in with the yellow, moving into some of the orange and the red. I was going to do a full rainbow of colors on here, but I think I'm going to just stick with the warmer colors because this is summer and I think that will just look nicer overall. So I'm just wetting the brush a little bit, picking up some pigment and muddling it around here, as you can see. Just trying to fill the full circle, creating some variations of color in and about. And I'm liking that. It's going to take a minute to dry, so we'll go ahead and clean up the rest of this, get everything set, and let that have some time to dry up. And while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and cut down this sheet of label stickers that I printed and pick out which bucket list items I think I may want to use on this insert. It's a little faster to do with my guillotine cutter, so I'm going to use that for the most part. Sometimes the labels stick to the blade, so it takes a minute, but it is faster than cutting with scissors for the most part. So I'm just going to cut everything down. Again, I'm still waiting for the watercolor to dry, so it's a good time to do this step. And sorry, that's off camera. You're not missing much though. So this printable is available down below in the video description. I printed it at 80% size because I wanted the scaling to be just a little bit smaller for my bucket list. But it comes on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that you can print at size from there, or like I said, you can scale it down if you want the actual prompts to be a little bit smaller like I did. So I have them all there. Let's just quickly sort out which ones I think I want. And I already removed the excess washi tape from the outside of the circle now that it's set up quite a bit. I think the ones here are potentials. We'll go ahead and put the other ones to the side for use on another bucket list. Okay, let's go ahead and tape things down. I'm gonna also tape a little bit more than normal just because the cardstock is pretty heavy and it's absorbed some of the water there, so it's warping slightly. And my idea for this bucket list, all throughout the last year, I was doing these kind of wreath style bucket lists in my planner and keeping them in my monthly area, which I absolutely love. It's just the perfect place for me to look at it every day, make sure I don't forget about it, but also kind of blend in with decor. I like to do seasonal decor in my monthly, so it's just a good spot for it. And having it in that circular shape tended to be the best because squared off, it blocks more than I want it to, but the circle kind of becomes part of the design and feels a lot less obtrusive. So I wanted to do that here again, but I didn't want to do florals or something like that, more traditional style wreath. So I came up with this idea to do just some iconic things as the edges of the circle, making almost a wreath of summer iconic images. And I have a ton of these from the Happy Planner, from their older sticker books. Again, I've been trying to get into those older sticker books, use those stickers that I don't tend to gravitate to very often. So I really wanted to put them to use. It's a lot harder to find spreads for these kinds of stickers, in my opinion, because the styling and the colors are all very different in some areas. So I really love this idea of trying to bring those all together and making that the style, just all the colors, and theming it more along the lines of summer things versus trying to do it by color or by something more specific as far as florals or that kind of theme. So I'm going through mainly I think these are the Brilliant Year sticker books. There was a mini and a regular size for a majority of the stickers. I have some here also too from the summer sticker book, and then I have the dates and holidays sticker book as well that I may pull one or two items from along the way. And I found that I was going to stick with all the clear stickers, so there were some paper stickers that would have fit the bill, but I wanted it all to look very seamless and cohesive, so I'm going to stick with just the clear stickers that I have available on the edges here of this wreath. And I'm just going to pull in some random items too, some hearts and maybe a star or two if I find them, just to help fill in some of the gaps. This is a pretty colorful one, but I really love how the watercolor is kind of bringing out the summer feels, kind of that warm, sun-kissed summer color scheme, and picking up on a lot of those colors inside of the different stickers. So I'm just trying to fill out the edges of the circle so it looks, like I said, kind of like a wreath, so everything is a part of it. Moving a few things around or rearranging a few things just to make things fit a little better. And I think we're looking good. Let's see if there's anything else I see that might fit. Gonna look inside here of the dates and holidays. I thought I might pull more in there, but the styling is a little bit different, so I think that's good. Let's go ahead and move things over to the page, and I'll try to roll these off. I don't think they're touching quite enough to do this smoothly, but we'll give it a shot. I'll move off as much as I can. And you can see I'm just trying to slide it out side by side as much as I can. It does help, but it's not ideal unless all of the stickers have an overlap. But this one here, there's still quite a bit of empty space between some of these items, so I do kind of abandon the roll-off to some extent and just start placing things by hand on this edge here. And just going to adjust a few things that I see might be a little misaligned. And we'll go ahead and try to roll off the rest of these, get the placement right first. That went pretty smoothly. So next I need to find the center of the circle. So I'm just going to quickly mark the halfway point on each vertices. And then just trim out a little bit of this excess paper just so it's a little easier to maneuver. And go ahead and just cut the circle in half to go into the spine. It's currently upside down right now, but that is looking good. I also need to find the center point for the very first hole punch, which I kind of already did there with the pencil. So just using my We Are Memory Keepers disc power punch for this. It's great on these heavier papers. Once you get that center hole, then you just work outward from that, and it has a little guide to help keep everything in line. And we'll finish that out. I'm going to go ahead and trim off some of these holes. Because the paper is still slightly damp, it didn't quite punch through the paper as cleanly in those areas, so I just went back with my scissors and trimmed those out. So the next step is to fussy cut the edges, just again to kind of create more of a wreath feel to this insert. And I'm not being too particular here. I'm just kind of giving a 1/16 of an inch around all of the edges. Just a slight border of white to contain all of these summer elements. Trying to smooth out a few of my cuts there. We'll do the same thing here on this side. Just trying to trim around those edges. This cardstock is made for watercolor. It's very thick. So later down the road, you'll see I have to go back in and actually widen out those holes, those disc holes. So if you're following along in the process, you might want to save yourself a little bit of time later down the road and just go ahead and widen them now. It'll help for getting it in and out of your planner with ease and turning on your discs. I find that that's usually the solution if you have something that's kind of stiff and rigid in your planner, like something laminated, and you're having trouble with it turning. Just opening up the kind of stem area there of the mushroom head on the disc holes will make your life much, much easier. So I realized that I didn't have any S's at first in the style of lettering I was going to pull from this summer sticker book, but then came across a already compilated summer word there with an S. So I thought I could actually end up using this lettering here on the sheet. So I'm just trying to make it work. I did want to have more than just the green though, so we'll see if I can pull in some other colors using some of the other letters I have. It is a little bit more green than I'd want it to be. I was a little bit limited there by the color schemes available left on my sheet. I did use the U upside down to create a little bit of variety there in the color. And there are numbers, so I thought, well, I could make it work and just put in the actual year using those numbers as well. So we'll try to make 2023 fit there on the edge. That's the only thing that's a little bit challenging here with these wreath shapes, is finding a way to label them across the circle and fitting in all the words. It's a little bit hodgepodgey looking, and I'm not in love with the way it looks, but I didn't have enough in black, which black would have been a really nice strong choice as well. So I just made it work with what I had. I thought maybe I would try this 2023 in the black lettering from the dates and holidays, but I only had enough for just 23, so then I thought maybe I would do a black apostrophe in front. But I went back and forth on that, so I decided just to move on and then revisit it later if I need to. So now we're on the back, and I am going to sort through and figure out which bucket list items I want to include on each side. And I think I can fit maybe 6 on each side, so we'll just pick the best ones that I think I can do and start to lay those down with these Plannything box stickers from her book. And I'm going to go kind of in a rainbow pattern going down, so we'll start with red, and then it will go orange, yellow, green, and then there's like a teal, and then a soft blue. So we'll use those colors going down the side of the page here. And in those boxes is where I will actually denote what day I did the bucket list item, so a way of kind of keeping track. And then that empty space in and around them, I oftentimes will put a little notation if there's something I want to notate about that particular bucket list, like if it was with certain people, or if it was extra fun, or, you know, something like that. So having a little breathing room in and around them has been nice and kind of creates a little bit more of a fun description of what I did on those bucket list items. And here I just decided that the color order would be better if I moved that teal up a little bit, or it's actually more like an aqua, up a little bit, and then went into the soft blue. So I just switched those out. And I'm trying to trim off too a little bit of the excess here on some of these bucket list items, because there was a lot of clear sticker extras around them before I laid them down. Just gives me more room to write in those notations I mentioned. I'm just staggering them, dropping them in where they fit. Again, going in that rainbow order with the boxes. I'm really excited for this one. I really love the watercolor look on the front. So this will be a fun one to be in all summer. We will finish this side out with these last two. Just make a small adjustment there with the positioning so it doesn't hit the hole there on the edge. And okay, so now we've got the bucket list items. There's a little bit of overlap from the front that I wanted to trim off from the F, make sure it didn't conflict with the hole. And here I just went back and I was like, I didn't like the black 23 being the only thing that was black, so we'll go ahead and put this one back in there with the colorful version. And loving that, it looks super fun. I'm going to try to drop it in, but again, like I said, I felt like it was just a little bit too thick. And then also too, on this side, I needed to cut things down a bit because they were running into the discs at the top. I didn't want to punch another hole and risk some of the sticker being cut off, so I'm going to make some adjustments here to make it fit. just going to use my scissors here to widen those mushroom stems like I mentioned. I was being very liberal with the widening, so these got pretty wide, but it was really nice because then they didn't catch it all on the discs. And once I'm done with that, you guys, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.